I took a rally, and let's just say it was not ideal. Here's the context. If you guys don't know me and my account, I'm not really one of the biggest whales in the world. I like saving up gold heads and using up all my gold heads for open field commanders. With that, I'm not really a garrison guy, so I don't really have that many garrisons. For some reason, I maxed a Flavius, so that's my only garrison commander. So yeah, I don't really have a city garrison. Fast forward to this KVK, we were in this Zone 7 fight, and it was going pretty well. I was sent to, I guess, our little special task force of 10% of our kingdom, which was tasked to fight against Daybreak in the left side during the pass opening. As our advantage kept getting pressed and we started getting more and more territory onto the map, our kingdom got a little bit courageous and started planning some fort drops. The reason for the fort drop is because our opponents built a huge fort wall. The plan was to drop a fort behind the fort wall to make the fort wall obsolete, and so that we can reach the level 9 pass that they were trying to defend. However, since that space was super small, they were able to carpet it pretty well, so no matter where we dropped the fort, it would be essentially touching one of their flags from the get-go. So we would have to survive 2.5 hours worth of rallies and swarms. Because of this, our kingdom was told to random teleport around the area that we're trying to drop a fort so that we can refresh and hold the fort for as long as possible. Me at 80, I think I was 85, 86 million power at the time, I just started pressing the random teleport button, expecting a closer spot, but not really, on top of the fort. Just a spot where I could refresh the fort, but not really be in too much danger. But then when I random teleported, I actually ended up pretty much right on top of our forts. But by being right on top of our forts, I was actually right on top of our opponents as well. I was scared, honestly, but because we had an objective to hold, I decided to stay put and open field. That is how we got into our situation that we're in right now. When the initial rally launched, I was out open fielding with my troops, not really thinking too much about it. The thing is, when you're in a situation like this where you're really focused on an objective, you're not really looking at things such as rallies or all that kind of stuff. So I wasn't really too focused actually on the rally that was about to hit me. That is the first fault of my city defense, is that I didn't prepare anything. I didn't prepare my walls, I didn't prepare my potential garrison captains or anything like that. All I did was I geared up my Flavius, and I kind of just expected that my Flavius would be on the wall to protect it at all times. Luckily, I was in voice call and people were calling out that my city was being rallied, and I kept asking them, should I take it? Like, is this worth taking? I have such a good city location. My city is literally like 8 kilometers away from the fort. I could reinforce the fort super easily. So I was really asking, like, is this worth taking? The thing is, whenever you ask that question, people always say, yeah, just take it, it's content. So honestly, maybe asking for an opinion is not the best idea, but I ended up taking the rally, and for this one I was actually pretty prepared. I healed up my hospital, I let all my troops go home so that I could have a full city. So I saw the rally coming and I started panicking. I'm like, okay, what could I do? I'm just gonna swarm down this rally. I thought because my garrison was so bad, it was just better if I used my open field marches to swarm it down. People in BC started yelling at me. They're like, that's just the easiest way to fill your hospital as fast as possible. So I'm like, all right, that makes sense. I'm just gonna put them back in my city. I don't know what I was thinking. And I just took the rally and it didn't end up doing too bad. And the initial rally came with a swarm as well. In my mind, when I saw this, I believe I had Flavius with CP on my wall, and when I saw this rally and a bunch of people swarming me, in my head I'm like, hey, this is about maybe 10, 12, 15 marches that could have been used attacking our fort, so I'm, being a successful distraction here. The main thing for me was to make sure that even though I'm going to be taking personal losses, one, that my hospital isn't full, and I was just ready to insta-heal that hospital whenever it was ready, but two, even though my city was getting burned, at least it will relieve the pressure from the fort itself. I was just on my hospital ready to spam heal that thing. I got a fate changer, and yeah, it looked like a pretty successful first hold. Right, I didn't take any deads, they took some deads, although it was a 1 for 2, maybe even more so in terms of kill points. I mean, I'd probably take that trade again if I could. I went back out to open field and, start helping with the fort, making sure that we have pressure on this fort. And then they launched another rally on my city. What happened with this rally, though, as I said, is I was not prepared for my city to get rallied. And what ended up happening was my city had a Nevsky and Joan of Arc garrison, which was horrible for my city. All of my city presets had Flavius with Scipio, and in the heat of the moment, I didn't even know how to change garrisons while my city was getting rallied. So I was just panicking and panicking and panicking, and my number one priority was, okay, I don't know how to switch my garrisons. When you're in this situation, like, the adrenaline just hits you and you just can't think. The one thing I was thinking was, let me make sure I heal my hospital right away so that after the rally hits and they start swarming, at least my hospital would have been healed. Overall, the rally report could have been a lot worse. I took about 190k deads from that city rally though, and they only took 113. Obviously, with a Nevsky and Joan of Arc city garrison, you're not going to be trading that well. And yeah, it just all ended up because my Scipio was inside of the fort filling the fort, and because my Scipio was in there, it automatically put Nevsky and Joan, which was really weird, but that was my fault. So lessons learned: if you are random teleporting, make sure that you have a city garrison. I would also suggest having leadership gear so that you can put that on your city garrison. And yeah, just make sure to set up your garrison leads. You have 5 slots that you're able to kind of put different pairs in here. Unfortunately, I believe all of my pairs had Flavius Scipio, Flavius Scipio, Flavius Scipio, and then Nevsky Joan. So it just defaulted to Nevsky Joan. Hopefully you guys learned from my mistakes. But yeah, the KVK has been going well ever since then. We've been able to slowly burn back the forts. We're actually back to where we started with that initial fort drop that we had. And the next video will actually be about offensive farm filling, how to fill rallies on your opponent's territory, and how we've been able to burn this fort wall relatively efficiently. And yeah, that will be coming out after this. And be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment what your biggest Rise of Kingdoms mistake was, because this is definitely up there for me. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.